I've been a part of this group since its inception. And then assumed the tech director role after the fact. Rob and I talking out at Schriever about how we can't do DevOps in the DoD and trying to figure out how we're actually going to do DevOps in the DoD. That was what planted the seed. Was really being a part of the Geon team, being the DevOps lead on a team that couldn't do DevOps after Rob left, and being the chief systems engineer to try to pull all of these things together in a way that we just couldn't do it. All of those seeds were planted during the Space BMC2 Geon that then became me cheerleading Rob in starting Space Camp, and me being really excited to see what Space Camp was building in the year that I was still transitioning our previous program. And then with that, I think the next step was in conversations with Rob, understanding what problems Space Camp was tackling and what problems were being left unsolved. And so I made my focus really the next layer up from the code level security, the code level testing, and really focusing on, okay, now we have to do operational level testing. We have to do focused mission critical scenarios to be able to run. And so that's really where I focused in creating what is now the entire Space Camp portfolio. The platform work that we were doing within Space Camp with the CATO and getting really Platform 1 stood up, with that allowing us to do the code level testing, the code level security, plus the work that we were doing at Dragon Army with the operational level scenarios. That combined created what I consider the entire Space Camp pipeline, which allows us to do integration test activities and provide feedback to our development teams from everything from did I solve the equations right to did I solve the right equations. I really don't know if I've hit what I've set out to do. I think because my target is so big and my dreams are so far reaching for Space Camp that I don't think we're there yet. I feel, and this is just me, I feel like I've failed more than I've succeeded because my dreams are so big and because I really want to get us there. I want to really steer the acquisition ship. I would say that I'm honored to have been able to lead this team and to try to turn that ship and really work on all of the problems that we encounter in the acquisition system. And we've really started to chip away at a lot of that, to be able to deliver products, to be able to pump out MVPs in weeks, to be able to set up an ops center inside of a year. We have chipped away and created believers of what we do here, which is one step on the way to where I think we can go and where I think we need to go. When have we arrived? I think really when it comes to the dreams that I have here, it's that we are part of a coalition. So not all Space Camp is going to solve this problem, but we're part of a coalition that really steers the ship on how we deliver technology and how we do acquisitions. To be a little bit more specific on that, it's having value-driven decisions being made on the timelines that we develop software. And so right now, our acquisition system, obviously, you can ask anybody, everyone's going to tell you it's broken, but right now the acquisition system, especially when it comes to software, is still a 5-year process. Success to me is that we're building our weapon systems in 2-week increments and delivering direct to operations with having streamlined the entire test process in terms of developmental test, operational acceptance, and we can accomplish that inside of weeks. I think that what we really need to explore and what we are exploring is our ability to have coders in the unit solving their own problems and sustaining software solutions for their units and upgrading and adding features to those real time, knowing what they know about what the unit needs. And I think that that's really where we need to get to. It's a huge untapped resource in terms of being able to augment development teams to be able to provide that flight line maintenance for the units that they're in. I think that my vision for the supercoders is that they increase the productivity of their units. Basically, they augment the unit in productivity greater than what they were contributing as an operator alone. What their effect can be is multiplying. I have one supercoder that goes, they learn, the unit might have a slight decline in productivity while that operator is learning, but then as soon as that operator comes back, they fulfill what they were doing operationally and then some with the savings and efficiencies that they can provide the unit back. That's the real vision that I see for how the supercoders then augment the mission and increase our ability to do the mission. I think even longer term than that, so that's for one guardian leaving one unit, but long term we would have this native in-house capability that comes up through the ranks, both in being able to hop in on other code bases as they transition to other units. We would have this cadre of, well, I'm losing a supercoder, but I'm getting another one, and so I can still maintain my code base, to these guardians getting into leadership roles, acquisition roles, where they understand how software is built. And I see that to be a huge long-term benefit of what we're doing with supercoders, is the ability of the supercoders to achieve these leadership positions that then can influence how we procure and how we deploy software. I think the way that we're doing it right now in providing them internship opportunities, in providing them the hands-on experience, I believe that will wholeheartedly continue in the way that it is right now. I don't see that part changing at all. I think that there's always going to be new influx of supercoders, and there's always going to be needs for them to learn hands-on. And I think that that's really where Space Camp's role is. I also think that Space Camp's role in continuing to develop solutions for our guardians within the Delta units can be maintained by supercoders, and those capabilities can be delivered by using that talent pool to maintain that software within the units. We've got a lot of things that make us awesome. I think probably the culture and the desire to learn, to continuously improve, and the tenacity that we have to rail against the status quo, I think, is probably what makes us the most awesome. We're slightly rebellious, but in a good way, in that we really want to see the latest and greatest technology in the hands of our operators. So it's a mission-focused rebellion against the way we do software delivery and software development. There is a vast landscape of the things we could do. And really, I would say a good leader of Space Camp is focusing us as a team on what is critically the most important work that we need to do. And so I think that that's probably my biggest piece of advice is there's so many great things that we could do. What do we absolutely need to do in order to move the needle and turn the ship? I'm like, oh, but there's so much great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I want to do it all.